driveway into a beautiful space. Then Design at 9 kicks off with awesome interiors. Jennifer shows you how to convert old chairs into festive home furnishings. At 9:30, Design at 9 continues with this small space. Discover an interesting new way to store china. At 10, it's the HGTV International Hour starting with Homefront. We'll give two sisters bedroom makeovers. And at 10:30, it's Homes by Design. Explore two very different but beautiful log cabins. It's all tonight on HGTV.
You're watching HGTV Daytime, right here on Home and Garden Television.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton, the house doctor. Welcome once again to the House Doctor, the show that helps you fix up your home or apartment. Now on today's program, I'm going to give you a crash course in running electrical wiring, including how to bend and install metal conduit. But first, if you have a cracked concrete driveway badly in need of a patch, let me show you how to take care of it. Now, if your concrete driveway has a lot of cracks, you may be left with no choice but to simply take it all up and re-pour it. But if the cracks are confined to one section like this right here, and it's actually broken away, then it is possible to repair it. That's what we're going to do right now. This is the tool that we're going to use to remove this damaged concrete. It's a 60-pound electric breaker or jackhammer. Now, we could take this out probably with a heavy sledgehammer, but it'd be pretty tough on our hands and our arm, so this will make the job go a lot faster. The trick to using this tool is not to push down on it. Let the tool itself, which is quite heavy, do the work for you. And of course, you'll want to wear eye protection, gloves, and hearing protection. So let's go ahead and start breaking here. See how fast this goes. Now, the electric jackhammer works really well to break this up into manageable chunks like this. What I'm finding is the crowbar and this small sledge right here is the tool to use to sort of get these loose and actually out of here. Well, as you can see, we've cleaned the debris out of our hole here, and I'm still not sure what caused this. It doesn't seem to be terribly wet down here, but it is summertime now. It could have dried out. Here's an interesting thing. These are two pieces of concrete that we took out of here, this one and this one. You can see this is about almost twice as thick as this one. I would imagine what happened is the ground wasn't flat when they poured this, and some of it was quite thin, and that might have contributed to the cracking. The other thing is, when we took this out, it was kind of powdery on the bottom. It broke up very easily. Could have been a bad batch of cement. So I really can't tell you exactly what caused it. The important thing is now we're going to fix it. Now, this is a mixer that we've rented to mix up our concrete. You can do this by hand in a box with a trowel, but this is going to make the job go a lot easier. You can get these at most tool rental places. I'm going to turn the mixer on and then begin by adding the concrete. This is a pre-mixed concrete here. Already got the sand and gravel in it. We'll just dump this in first. Now that we've got the dry concrete mix in here, we're going to add some water from a garden hose. I'm going to keep adding water until this ends up being a plastic-like consistency. Now we're going to prepare our hole here by dampening the soil and the edges of the old concrete. And to make sure that I get a really good bond between the new concrete and the old, I'm going to take some of this acrylic fortifier or bonding agent. I'm going to pour it in here in this container. Then take a paintbrush and paint it on this edge. This is where the two surfaces are going to come in contact with each other, and this will minimize the possibility of them cracking again at the same place. Well, this batch is ready to pour. Now, down here I put what's called a splash board. That's so we can dump it right on the board and it'll slide right into the hole. The other way to do this is to dump it into a wheelbarrow and bring it over here and pour it in, but this just saves that step. Let's tip this up. There we go. Well, this should be enough concrete to fill up our hole. Now what I'm going to do is something called screeding. Just a matter of taking a straight board like this and kind of dragging it across the surface of the concrete. Actually, the old concrete on the sides here is sort of acting like a form would. And we're just leveling this off, flush with the surface of the surrounding concrete here. What I'm doing right now is called floating, and I'm using a wooden float to do that. You can also use a metal float or trowel to do this same process. Now, concrete has all kinds of different sized stones in it, from very large ones like this to very tiny ones. Actually, sand would be the smallest. And what we're doing here is we're sort of passing this float over the surface here, sort of pushing those bigger rocks down and leaving the very fine sand up on the surface. Now, the technique here is to sort of lift the leading edge of the trowel about a ½ inch as you move across the surface like this. So you're going to lift it up just about a ½ inch, move it across the surface, and to do it in kind of circular motions, like I'm doing right here. Now, practically all concrete has stress control joints. There are these grooves right here. If you can think of these as kind of score lines, because if the concrete's going to crack, it'll crack along these joints rather than through the field. So I've restored the joints here and here using this tool right here. It's called a grooving tool. You can see it's got sort of a curved up, sort of boat-shaped end right here. And this is what makes that control joint. So across here, we'll, first of all, set our grooving tool in here, and then we'll use this board here as a straight edge. Pull this down just a little bit. And I want it about the same distance from the joint up there as it is right here. Okay? And then we're just going to run this across here like this. Sometimes you have to do this several times to sort of work that groove into the concrete. Concrete often has a texture, and that's usually created with a broom. Well, in this case, the texture on this was very, very slight, and I found that a broom was just too much. It wasn't blending well. So this paintbrush actually has worked out quite well. I'm just running this over the surface of the concrete. This is quite hard right now. Just putting a little bit of texture in here so that it won't be slippery. Now, concrete hardens through a chemical process. The water actually combines with the materials in the concrete and causes it to harden or cure over time. Now, what's important is you don't want that process to happen too quickly. Ideally, you'd like this to cure for about 2 or 3 days. So, as you might have been able to tell, it was very hot here today. What we're going to do is spray this with water, cover this with a piece of plastic, and then a couple, 3 times a day for the next couple of days, we're going to repeat this process. Take the plastic off, put some more water on, so that this can cure in its own sweet time and end up being as hard as the rest of the driveway here. Okay, well, in a couple of days, this will be ready to drive on. Now, you might be interested in some of the costs with this project. We rented 2 tools here, that jackhammer, which was about $55 for a half day, and the mixer, which was about $23 for the half day. What I'd suggest you do, rent the jackhammer for the first half of the day, take it back, and then get the mixer, because you can't use them both at the same time. And the concrete to do this job was about $20, $25 at the most. So for about $100, we were able to make this patch, and I guarantee you that's a lot less than it would cost to have a pro come out and do it for you. Next, get a crash course on running electrical wiring, including bending and installing conduit.
I left my heart, and that's my song. And I've sung for kings and queens and 7 American presidents. It's wonderful to have everybody recognize you. Will shine for me.
Beautiful, Mr. Bennett. But if you're going to write a check for these CDs, I still need to see some ID.
Use the Visa card that automatically deducts from your checking account at the millions of places Visa's accept.
I left my ID in,
San Francisco.
The Visa check card works like a check, only better.
Here's a quick look behind the scenes of HGTV's new fast-action, fast-paced show, The Fix.
We are rolling, and action!
Remember that project that you did that you thought was going to be so tough?
Well, it turned out to be very easy.
And how good you felt?
You definitely have the power to do this.
Looks fantastic. Yes.
We're dealing with a lot of power here.
The ideas.
The solutions.
The tools.
The Fix.
9 Eastern on HGTV weekend mornings.
If your automatic garage door opener was installed after your home was built, well, chances are there wasn't any power supply for it. So what was often done is an extension cord was run from the unit right here to the nearest outlet. Well, that's sort of the situation we're dealing with right here. This box is actually attached to the end of this flexible extension cord, which runs along this beam over here and down the wall here, across the wall, and down here. Now, the code says it's illegal to use an extension cord as a permanent source of wiring. And also, this is potentially dangerous. So what we want to do right now is fix it. As is always the case when working on an electrical circuit, we want to turn the power off. So I'm going to go upstairs to the circuit breaker. As you can see, we're energized right now. This is glowing red right here. Going upstairs to the circuit breaker and flip that breaker off. Okay, the power's off. There's no light going here. So now we can start to work. First thing I'm going to do is take off the switch plate. And of course, that means removing these 2 screws right here. Well, I'm just removing the last of the 2 screws that hold the switch in place. I'm going to just sort of pull everything out here. See, that wire just came loose there, all right? Now let's take a pair of cutters. Actually, I'm just going to snip these off a little bit faster. I want to get everything out of here. I also want to get rid of this wire right here. Let's pull everything out. There we go. This is kind of a mess right now, but I'm not concerned about it. I just want to get everything out in the open. And this wire, hopefully, now I can just pull out of there. There we go. Well, I patched up that hole where the extension cord came through to give us a neater repair here. Now, we're ready to start assembling our new circuitry going over here to the garage door opener. Take a look at this box right here. Now, this is what's called an extension box. Notice that there's no back on it. It's open here. But we're going to put this up in just a second. But before I do, let's take a screwdriver and remove this knockout on the side. Just hammer it through like that, grab a pair of pliers and twist it off. And then we're going to put this in connector. And it's a little bit easier to do this on these boxes while they're off the wall, although you can do it afterward. Now, we're about to mount this extension box onto the original box here in the wall. These are the screws right here that would have held, or did hold, the old switch in place right there. So what we're going to do is slip this over the wire. Oh, one thing I'm going to change right here, I'm going to loosen this up just a little bit and turn this so that the screw is up like that. I think that would be better for us. We can still reach it, but it's sort of out of our way. It's not really sticking down into or sticking out away from the wall. It's tightened up here. There we go. Okay, now slip this over here. The slot up on the top of this box goes over the upper screw. The slotted hole in the bottom goes over the bottom one. And we'll just tighten that up with a screwdriver. Now, this is called thin wall electrical conduit, also sometimes called EMT for electromechanical tubing. Its job is to protect wires that run inside of it, in much the same way that the plastic covering on Romex protects the wires that run inside it. However, if you're running wiring where you can touch it, as we are today here, you can't use the Romex. You have to use the metal because it gives you an added measure of protection. Now, to cut this conduit, you can use a hacksaw blade. About a 24-tooth blade works about the best. And just get a grip on it, a couple sawhorses, and cut away. Once you've cut the conduit, remove any burrs from the inside with a rat tail file. Because there are no electrical outlets along this wall, we're going to take advantage of the fact that we're installing a new line to add a receptacle right here for workbench tools. Metal conduit should be installed flat up against the wall so that it can be secured with these clips at regular intervals. However, when you're attaching the conduit to a box, you run into a problem because the connectors on the box are offset from the wall about a ½ an inch. Now, there are a couple ways to deal with this. One is to use an offset connector like this one, and the other is to bend the conduit itself. This is a conduit bender. We're going to use this to put that offset bend in the pipe. And for this kind of bend, we're going to place the pipe so just about a ½ inch or so is sticking out, maybe a little bit less. That's about 3/4 of an inch. Okay? And then I'm going to stand up, put my foot on this part of the bender, and we're going to bend this up just a little bit. That's it right there. Then we're going to slide this pipe forward, reverse the bend, just about like that. Okay, then bend it back, slip a little bit there. I'm going to be exactly reversed here. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to bend it back in this direction. All right, now let's take a look. See? There's our offset. Well, there's our offset bend right there. I've attached our first box in place. I got to tell you, the offset bend is a little bit tricky. You might want to take some scrap pieces of pipe and practice a bit, or use this offset connector right here. Now, I've also bent a second piece of pipe right here into a 90-degree angle. That's going to go from the top of this box right here up to the ceiling. Now, it's very important that that bend up there be made at just the right place so this will fit. Now, let me show you how to do that. Let's suppose that we want to make a piece of pipe that's exactly 30 inches from the end to the outside of the bend. Well, we'll start out by coming down here our 30 inches, making a mark. Okay, and then we're going to back off 5 inches. In this case, that would put us down here to 25 inches. Right there, make a second mark. All right. Now, we're going to take our pipe bender. Now, this has two sides to it. This is called the working end over here. The This is a little sort of tread here where you put your foot. We want to put the working end toward the direction from which we took the measurement. And we're going to align that mark, remember that's 5 inches short, with this arrow right here on the pipe bender, like that, okay? Now, we'll begin to bend this. I'll plant my foot here and pull up on the handle at the same time. This will start to bend up. I see that level down there. We want to keep going, and assuming that we're on a level surface, when that bubble gets between those two black lines, we'll have a 90-degree angle. Stay tuned as I continue installing the electrical conduit.
Attention used car buyers. Bob Morris's Big Lot in Cleveland is having a $99 sale starting right now. Regardless of the type of car you want, $99 down delivers. That's right, $99 down whether you want a Ford, Chrysler, or GM product, and you can drive away today. Quality cars from $49.95 through current models with only a few thousand miles, all for only $99 down. Every day, more people buy a used car from Bob Morris's Big Lot, State Road at I-480.
In Cleveland. And don't forget to ask for my cookies.
Attention used car buyers. Bob Morris's Big Lot in North Bridgeville is having a $99 sale starting right now. Regardless of the type of car you want, $99 down delivers. That's right, $99 down whether you want a Ford, Chrysler, or GM product, and you can drive away today. Quality cars from $49.95 through current models with only a few thousand miles, all for only $99 down. Come and see why every day more and more people buy a used car from Bob Morris. Center Ridge at the Turnpike Overpass.
In North Ridgeville.
You can find all these name brand blinds and wallpaper at your decorating store or home center and pay huge retail prices.
But why, when you can buy them directly from American Blind and Wallpaper Factory? Hi, I'm Stephen Katzman, the president. We're America's largest factory direct dealer. We can save you a ton of money and ship most orders within 72 hours.
You'll find the exact same first quality name brands at prices that will save you a lot of money.
Seen something you like at your local decorating store? Call right now and give us the details. We'll get it to you at the absolute guaranteed lowest price and faster than anyone else. Or choose from our catalog and shop at home.
Call now for your free American Blind and Wallpaper Factory catalog and free measuring guide with complete product measuring and ordering information.
We have over 4 million satisfied customers coast to coast. You can be one too, I guarantee it.
Call 1-800-575-9038 for your free American Blind and Wallpaper Factory catalog and free measuring guide. That's 1-800-575-9038.
Come on, baby, let's see what you got. It's gonna be huge. This is gonna be huge.
It's the bargain of the month from Coast to Coast, Service Star, and True Value. This month, there's lots to cheer about with a Rayovac flashlight, a kitty fire extinguisher, or insulating foam.
Go, baby! Go, baby! Go, baby! I told you it was gonna be insulating foam. You got the gift. Thank you.
Bargain of the month. It's a very, very big deal.
Yes!
Goes where you want it, stays where you put it. The flexible shower massage from Teledyne Waterpick.
A conduit typically comes in 10-foot length, so if your run is more than that, you're going to need to connect sections together. And to do that, you'll want to use something like this. This is called a set screw coupling. One is going to go on this conduit, and the other on this one. And then we'll tighten up those set screws with a screwdriver. If you're working outside, you'll want to use a watertight, compression-type coupling. Conduit needs to be secured with straps, something like these, within 3 feet of every box and every 10 feet on a straight run. Now, if you're securing it into a sheetrock ceiling or a sheetrock wall like we are here, this is probably the easiest way to do it. This is a threaded anchor, and it goes right into it makes its own hole, goes its own hole, kind of pulls itself right into the sheetrock. Like that. And then take a screw, put it through the strap. Actually, just put the strap over the conduit. That'll be easier. It'll hold itself on there. There we go. And put a screw through the strap hole, right into the anchor, and attach everything in place. Well, I put in our last box here, just tightening up the set screw on the connector. Now that completes all of our conduit. Next step is going to be to start putting the wire inside the conduit. And to do that, I'm going to need this tool right here. Get it out, bring it around where you can see it. This is called an electrician's fish tape. It's about 50 or 100 feet of fairly stiff wire with a special connector on the end here. I'll show you more about that in a moment. For the time being, though, what we're going to do is push the end of this wire into the end of this conduit right here and start feeding it through. Now it's going to go all the way across the ceiling, over there to the wall, make that 90-degree bend, and then, hopefully, end up in that box down there above the workbench. There it is. Let's pull the end of this fish tape out of the box. Leave it there for just a moment. Now these are the wires that are going inside the conduit, a white, a black, and a ground. And you notice what I've done here is I've sort of staggered them, laid them beside each other, and I've staggered them so that when they go through, they'll be a little bit less bulky. And I'm now going to wrap them with some electrician's tape. And it just went up here to the end of the white one there. Okay, and we'll pull this off, make that tight. All right, so it gives us a nice taper. It makes it easier to go through the conduit itself. And then we'll take the one wire here, hook it through the fish tape. Let's put a little twist on it. I'll get the pliers on here. Oops. Could have made that just a little bit longer. Okay, there we go. There's our twist. All right, now let's kind of ease this back up in here just a little bit, get it started. And I'm going to go back over to the other side now and grab that fish tape and pull this through, okay? There they go. There we go right there, all right? Now we'll just cut this off with a pair of cutters and go back over to the workbench side. Well, I've also run the wires in this section of conduit right here, which goes from this box over to that switch by the door. And I was going to start installing the first of our receptacles, which is actually this GFCI switch, or ground fault circuit interrupter. It's designed to protect you from electrical shock, and it's now required in all receptacles in garages. However, I've run into a problem. You see how bulky this is compared to a standard receptacle? Well, it actually is too large to fit in this box. It's hitting on the end of the connector right here. I can't make it go in. So I'm going to have to go back and change this to a larger size box. Well, I changed out that box. That was my mistake, but this will work just fine. And I'm attaching to the front of it something called a plaster ring. Actually, I'm using it more as an adapter now to bring it back to a single receptacle. Now, let's go ahead and finish up wiring our GFCI. I've cut these wires a little bit long here. I'm going to kind of wrap them around the terminals using a pair of needle-nose pliers. These are a little bit tough sometimes because they're sort of recessed up in there. There we go. We'll wrap it around like that. Now, you notice when you're wrapping them on a terminal like this, you always want to wrap the wire in a clockwise direction. That's so that when you tighten it, like I'm doing right now, it'll actually sort of tighten that loop up instead of loosening it. And we can snip off some of the excess in here. There we go. All right. Now, of course, when you buy a GFCI, you want to read the directions that come with it as far as wiring goes. A couple of important points. The two wires that are coming from over here that are providing current to this GFCI are these two wires right here. They have to be attached to a particular set of terminals. In this case, it's the two on the bottom. The wires that are going from here to our garage door opener have to also be attached to a particular set of terminals, in this case, the ones on top. What's important with the GFCI is that these two sets of wires go on the correct terminals. All right, so let's go ahead and fold this. Our ground wires, by the way, I've just hooked together like that. Let's fold these wires up very carefully. Just ease this back into our box. Well, I've just about finished the wiring here at the switch where we started originally, and without trying to confuse you too much, let me show you what we've got here. This black wire right here is bringing current to the box. This black wire is taking it up to that new receptacle for the garage door opener. Those have been bundled together with a wire nut, and I've added a pigtail right here. Now, this is going to provide power to our switch, which in turn will control a light mounted outside the door here. This black wire will carry that current to the door, or to the lights outside the door when the switch is flipped on. Now, in addition, I've bundled all the whites together and all the grounds together, and I've grounded this also to the box, so that now the boxes and the conduit will act as a secondary ground. Well, I've installed the new receptacle here above our garage door openers. Let's go ahead and plug that in. There we go. And that pretty much finishes up the job. Except I want to check a couple of things. Now, come over here with me if you would. This is the new GFCI receptacle that we put in earlier. I want to first of all test this to make sure the GFCI is working. Now to do that, I'm going to press this black button on the bottom of the GFCI. If it's working properly, that red button should pop out like it just did. So to reset this, we'll press the red button back in. I also want to test to see if this is wired properly. That's what this little device is for. So I'll plug this in. There are two yellow lights on the right. These two right here. They're lighting. That means that the polarity is correct and the ground is working. So the new system is in, all set to go. And as you can see, it's a lot more attractive, better looking than this old cord was. But more importantly, it complies with code and it's much safer.
On the next Extreme Homes, we'll visit a sprawling 50,000 square foot home made up of half a dozen different buildings and only one bedroom. But with all the fun stuff around, who has time to sleep? Then go inside a cotton gin conversion filled with history and artistry. Sunday night at 8:30 on HGTV.
For my everyday paint colors and combinations, I didn't just pick the colors. I picked the colors that go with the colors you pick, and they're available at Sears and Kmart.
Okay, so you want to put in new blinds, spruce the place up, right? And you want the good stuff at the best price. Name brands like Hunter Douglas, Graber, Levalor. One call to National Blinds takes care of everything. It's easy. They'll send you a blind kit with dozens of styles and colors free. And you'll pay less, a lot less, not 50 or 60, but as much as 82% off. So call for your free blind kit with measuring guide. Plus, if you call now, you'll get free UPS shipping when placing your first order. Call 1-800-698-7200 today.
There's something scary happening in cold, damp basements everywhere. Heat is escaping, and people are paying too much for their energy bills. By adding Pink Plus insulation to basement walls, you can save energy and even add comfortable living space to your house. Just call 1-800-GET-PINK, and we'll tell you how to get started. And you won't have to be afraid of what's down in the basement anymore. Making your home energy efficient was brought to you by Owens Corning.
Spreads like buttercream, covers like royal icing. My everyday paint colors and combinations make decorating a piece of cake, and they're available at Sears and at Kmart.
Attention used car buyers. Bob Morris's Big Lot in North Ridgeville is having a $99 sale starting right now. Regardless of the type of car you want, $99 down delivers. That's right, $99 down whether you want a Ford, Chrysler, or GM product, and you can drive away today. Quality cars from $49.95 through current models with only a few thousand miles, all for only $99 down. Come and see why every day more and more people buy a used car from Bob Morris, Center Ridge at the Turnpike Overpass.
In North Ridgeville.
Dining at Cello's is a pleasure you'll want to experience again and again. A creative Italian cuisine is our specialty at Cello's, drawing only on fresh produce, seafood, and grains. Our chefs prepare a sumptuous array of unique gourmet fare. Join us weekdays for Cello's luncheon specials from $4.95 to $6.95. Cello's also offers full catering and banquet rooms for your holiday parties. A lunch or dinner at Cello's will be unforgettable. Cello's Trattoria, 6504 Detroit Avenue in Cleveland, just 5 minutes from downtown.
You know, I probably use my electric drill more as a screwdriver than a drill. What makes it work particularly well as a screwdriver are these magnetic bit holders. To change bits, all I've got to do is pull one out and plug another one in. Now, I don't have just one of these. I've actually got about three. A short one, a medium length, and a long one. These allow me to get into hard-to-reach places. I also have a flexible version right here. By putting this in the chuck and tightening it up, I can get into spots where no other screwdriver could ever reach. Now, please join me next time for more tips and suggestions to make your next home improvement job just a little bit easier. And right now, though, it's time for you to get out there, roll up your sleeves, and tackle some of those jobs that you may have been putting off. See you next time.
Our apartment renovation project is underway on This Old House Classics. The old kitchen cabinets are the first things to go, so come on over and give us a hand tonight at 7 Eastern here on HGTV.